to, it can be a complete sort of mindfuck in your head
Right.
to get used to, at least anyway. Once it sort of like clicks in your head, it's pretty good. But that sort of, until it does, everything just feels wrong. I mean, the best place you'd probably see the difference between driving properly in the wet and not was if you were in like a time trial session, Joe, and you've got the little thing telling you your time plus or minus, and it constantly updates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you have that little thing on, then it may, that's when you really, really see the difference. So, right, I'm just gonna, while I wait for everyone to log in, I'm just gonna remind myself of how I do this.
Copy.
Because just by chance, this is our CTC race coming up. Is the Mustang in this wet weather? In it. Oh, wide.
Okay, so...
Oh, wobble. So one thing you'll see as well is you thought dirty tyres was bad in the dry. Dirty tyres in the wet is worse again. In real life you'd expect so, but Gran Turismo doesn't work like that, unfortunately. JP seems to know something I don't, because he's got medium tyres on right now.
So would you think it would be wise to turn traction control on, or would that still hurt your
100%.
time?
No, I always run traction control in the wet.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm not doing it now. It's probably the first time I've ever driven in the wet without traction control.
Right.
But I always run about 2, do I think, if it's really bad. Things with your shifting really it's car dependent, because it can change depending on what sort of car you've got. Yeah, it depends on, it can depend whether you've got a turbo car, if you've got a non-turbo car. It can depend on how aggressive the turbo is. It it depends on where in the power band that turbo kicks in. So it can be things like that. It's all sort of car dependent.
So what do you run your traction control at? Like, what is a good number?
I like 2.
So I run 2 in the wet. I know
Okay.
some people have a bit of an ego thing when it comes to traction control, so you have to sort of watch who you ask. Like, some people will tell you, oh no, don't run it, it just slows you down. It's just not the case at all. Yeah. It's, I know Jake, he's not a fan of track control at all. He hates it. He's not a big thing with people using it, it's just him personally. He doesn't like driving with it on. Where I know Slugsy will always run it wet or dry. So I think in the wet especially it's a personal preference thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well I always run it in the wet. I'll always chuck it on 2. I sort of kind of go with the weather, so you think if it's Inter's condition, I run it at 1. If it's full wet, run it at 2. If it's dry, I run it on 0. And then I'll go 3, 4, 5 if I end up having to run slicks or something. If I sort of get caught out on slicks in the wet, that's when I'll sort of go 3 or 4 or 5. Yeah. Potentially, yeah. Very potentially. Because you think if you've got a car that's burning front tyres, you're probably going to have your brake bias towards the rear to look after those front tyres. But in the wet, if you've got your brake bias all the way to the rear, you're going to have a big issue of struggling to keep your car going in the right direction. Yeah. In the wet, the biggest thing is momentum. Carrying momentum in the wet is huge. Yeah. Ow. Probably got distracted on my lap there. Yeah. But yeah, I was telling the Thursday crew that in the wet is where I reckon we can probably get the biggest sort of improvement very, very quickly. Because if you can sort of understand the amount of grip difference there is between the wet line and the dry line, and use the dry line, the wet line, sorry, to your advantage properly, like you're not talking like a couple of tenths, you're not talking you can knock seconds off instantly. I mean, big thing as well is if you have to know where the dry line is. Because you know that if you go from wet line to dry line, you're going to feel that little bit of slip as you go across it.
Even when it's raining like this?
Oh god, yeah. It says. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it, yeah. The other part is if the part of the track where you'd be, say like if it was a normal dry day, so the line you take on a normal day is going to be very, very slimy and slippery and horrible, I think. Whereas if you go off that line, it's wet tarmac, but it's not greasy tarmac, so there's more grip on it. So any point where you're doing heavy braking or heavy acceleration, you want to be off that that greasy line as such. Yeah, so probably that what you felt is that sort of going from the greasy line onto the grippier stuff. So that sort of washing is when you were on the greasy bit, and then when it's correcting itself is where it's hit the more grip essentially. So what you want to find is the point on the track where that grip is. So a good point now, if you knew exactly where that greasy bit is, you'd know, right, okay, it's going to be slimy here, but it's going to grip over there, so I'll be fine to sort of keep just driving through it. I don't have to lift, in a sense. So I think a good way, I think, would be to explain it would be into the last chicane, I think. So, obviously, your head is probably telling you to be on the left side of the track to sort of take the chicane. Well, I can almost guarantee you, if you hit the brakes down the middle of the track or even the right, you could brake maybe 30 odd meters later than you could if you were on the left side of the track because of the extra grip you have. Yeah, whereas if you're on that left side, because it's all greasy, you're pretty much almost guaranteed just lock up your tyres.
Good evening. Mind if I join a bit?
Yeah, hi Anza. Yeah, join in. Trying to think off the top of my head, good examples where you'd clearly spot that transition from dry line into wet line. A good thing to remember, if you've got long corners, imagine it like an oval. So you know, like on an oval corner, if you go right around the top of it, you can exit with a little bit more speed than you could at the bottom. So imagine long corners a bit like that you're trying to sort of carry that extra momentum onto the exit of the corner. So I think the first corner especially is a really good spot to sort of take advantage of that. So if you can sort of hang it around the outside a little bit more and try and carry a little bit more momentum onto the straight. who's that just on the last corner now? Is that Cupcake? Is that you just on the last corner?
Yes, sir.
How hard did you find it getting the power down there and going around the corner?
Stupid hard.
Yeah, sketchy. Right, here's what I want you to try this time round, and then you can tell me if it's how much easier it is, okay?
Okay.
Take the chicane as slow as you have to do it, okay? But get yourself right on the very left side of the track, at the exit of the chicane.
Okay.
Okay, so you know the chicane naturally sort of throws you to the right side of the track.
Yep.
Yeah. So just fight everything the car and the track's telling you to do, and exit that corner, the chicane, at the very left side of the track, and try and hang it round the outside of the corner.
Okay.
Okay. So even if it means you take the chicane stupidly slowly just to get it to turn that way, just see if you can get yourself there, just to see if you can spot the difference in the grip. Slow as you can, and just get yourself all the way to the left, here.
Holy crap, what a difference. Oh, wow.
Okay, so what you've just seen there is the difference between being on the slimy dry line and the grippy wet line. So part of the challenge in the wet is trying to find that grippy stuff, because when you find it, the difference, as you've just seen, is crazy. Yeah, so pretty much every corner has got that sort of the difference maker, essentially. Sometimes it is sort of the braking, where you're braking on the inside instead of the outside. Sometimes it's the acceleration point, whether you're on the outside or on the inside, etc.
Yeah, there's a huge difference, man.
Yeah.
It's like you got to take everything that you know about racing in dry conditions and like completely flip it.
Yeah, as I say, it is quite literally, it's almost the opposite of everything you think you should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There. And it's so easy, isn't it?
It is.
That last corner becomes so easy. But the little things you don't think of as well, because you're so easy getting the power on there, all that extra momentum you're carrying into that first straight as well. You've probably given yourself 2/10 on the start of the next lap just from that exit on the corner. And it's the same, if you try and hit an apex during that first sector through all the slimy bits, through all the S's, you'll probably find that it's really hard to either turn in or that the back of the car's trying to overtake you all the time. Whereas if you just go away from the apex a little bit, then you find a little bit more grip. It's a bit crazy. Braking into that last chicane as well will be a good spot to find the difference. If you hit the brakes as hard as you can all the way left of the side track, then do the same thing again, same spot and everything on the right side of the track, what you'll probably find is that you've almost stopped to nothing by the time you get to the corner if you do it on the inside of the track. So that's going to be my next little experiment for you to try. The last corner, left side of the track, hit the brakes as hard as you can, wherever you think you can, as late as you think you can make the corner.
Okay.
And then do the same thing the next lap round, but break the same point, but on the right side of the track, and notice how much earlier how much quicker you stop.
Yeah, because I noticed that a lot, because, like, when I first started driving on this track, if I stayed on that dry line, per se, and I hit the brakes, that car was pulling, I mean, so hard to the left or the right, to where I'm fighting it, just to keep it in a straight line.
So it's, this little bit of sort of knowledge about the wet is what makes sort of finding the best line in the wet really tricky. Because sometimes you got to think of the compromise. Like, yeah, I could brake better, you know, if I stay off the line here, but it means I'm not going to get off the corner as well. So, you know, so sometimes you got to think: is it worth doing one to sort of not get the other, in a sense? Yes, because like it's perfect example going into that chicane right at the end. There's not a big acceleration point after it because you're into the chicane, so you can get away with being off the line and gaining your time in the braking zone. Whereas, trying to think, where's the opposite effect of it really? Whereas the first corner, say, because of the way the corner is, if you were on the inside, if you were doing the same thing, braking on the inside of the track there, you'd be in such an awkward angle to take the corner. It would cost you so much time that it's better just to sort of brake on the slippy stuff in a sense, and try and ride around the outside of the track.
Can't park there, Hansa.
I know before we did the IRO race around here, I know me and Loogie that were doing it, and my team, we had massive discussions corner by corner trying to work out what's the best way to do it. The hairpin specifically, we took ages to work out what was the best way to take that, because there's so many different variables in the way that you can do there. It took us so long to work it out. Right, all the way right side of the track, Cupcake, at the brakes.
Oh, dude.
You think, and on the left side of the track, you only just made the corner, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That side of the track, you almost stopped too early. Anyone struggling to keep a balance in their car through the first sector, through those S's?
I just don't know where the line is. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I just go randomly on the outside more than to the inside.
Yeah.
I just try to cut, just to hit the racing line just on the apex. And maybe there, but
So,
the rest I try to avoid it, if possible. Ooh.
So, easy rule of thumb through the S's like that. So if you've got sort of a sequence of 3 or 4 corners straight after each other, sort of the easy rule of thumb to follow is stay in the middle of the track. Because all you want, really, you only want the outside of your car to be in the grippy stuff. So if you can hold the centre of the track all the way through those S's, the important tyres are always in the grippy part. And I think it's a pretty much general rule of thumb in the wet as well, to be honest. If you're learning a new track, that would be my sort of rule of thumb to start with, is just you just keep your car in the middle of the track all the way round, then you're going to be in the grip 90% of the time. Yeah. Yeah, I think there will be occasions where, you know, the middle of the track is not optimal, but I think as a rule of thumb, you're not going to get much wrong if you just hold the middle of the track all the way around. Yeah. But the big difference is the confidence you have driving in the wet when you feel the difference in the grip. Because Like, if you're only ever used to the slimy stuff, then you're only ever going to drive, even if you're in the grip, you're going to drive like you're on the slimy stuff. You're going to be very hesitant on the brakes, you're going to be very sort of hesitant being on the throttle, you're not going to try and carry as much speed around corners, because you don't know the grips there. Like, there's some corners you can take completely and utterly flat out, but if you didn't know the difference between the good grip and the bad grip, you'd never ever sort of try and take it flat out. It's like that last corner, for a few of you that have tried hanging it round the outside all the way, sort of, it's quite comfortably flat out if you hang it left all the way around the outside of the corner. But if you didn't know about how much extra grip there is there, you'd never ever sort of give it a try.
Got it there one time and then you will know.
Yeah.
I really need to shake off this 5 months of not driving.
Yeah.
It's about 5 months already, I know. It just...
Is it that much, is it?
In June, I think the last race.
Oh wow.
At least that was the last time it recorded something. There was a lobby for newbies.
Well,
I haven't done anything then since then.
if anyone's still not 100% sure of what I'm talking about with the difference between the grip and the wet and the dry, I will sort of show you it very quickly on the exit at the end of Sector 1. So I guarantee everyone's already had a little wobble on that sort of long left-hander into Sector 2 after the S's.
Oh, before that now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a tricky.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you a massive difference between on the slimy stuff and being on the grippy stuff there. So if you're on the slimy stuff, right,
I'm on green stuff.
right, you notice how much fighting I have to do with the car to get it round.
Oh yeah.
Alright?
Yep.
I'll save myself some time and go back this way. There you go. Right. Right, there we'll notice the speed as well. So just for reference, I don't think I got past 100 mile an hour.
No,
At
I don't
any
think you
point there.
did.
Alright. So just keep that in mind. At no point did I pass 100 mile an hour there. Whereas now I'm going to avoid that slimy stuff. So not only was it so much easier and smoother, we were also maybe 25 miles an hour quicker at the exit of it. That's probably maybe half a second just in that one corner difference.
I didn't see it. You go for the outside there, right?
So essentially what you do, the first part you go outside and then you cut to the inside and then go outside again. I'll run it once more now. So, ideally you want to come out here, cut back to come straight up here, and then look, foot to the floor, no dramas, no wheel spin, no nothing. Then little lift there, just because we're crossing that slimy stuff again, and then back onto the track. Yeah, so it's little things that make life not only does it make it quicker, but it makes it so much easier as well. So in a race when you're going to have to do about 15 odd laps around here, so if it takes away that little bit of risk of you crashing out while still carrying a lot of speed. Oh, that corner turns more than I thought. Right. And I'll show you, just while I've got you all there, I'll show you what I mean with these S's in Sector 1 as well. So, what I'll do the first two a little bit wrong, so I'll sort of try and hit the apex like you normally would in the dry, and then the last two I'll do like we do in the wet. So if I go into here now, you can already see that I'm understeering, sliding away, whereas if I go a little bit towards the middle, and I've just realised I've got my traction control on either. But the extra speed that carrying round is dramatic. Same here, on the brakes, easy. Just a little bit away from the apex, and then power it through. Easy. And you think, I'm using no special throttle control. I haven't got traction control on to help me with the throttle, and it's not exactly misbehaving. And this is not exactly a car well known for the wet. So you carry the speed over where it gets slimy, onto the grippy stuff. Keep your foot in, no problem. Off the slimy stuff, no problem. Turn off the slimy stuff, no problem. Yeah, so it's just about knowing where you are, because if you try and do it like you'd normally do it on the greasy stuff, it gets very very sketchy. Yeah, so it's a little bit about knowing. Like, for example, this first corner, I'll never go to the apex, I'll go over here. Turn in, go straight, slow down again, run it out wide, and then I'm straightened up now, I can go put my foot down to go. Ooh, that was not very good. So it is a lot about knowing where the grip is, where it's going to be, and a good little there is a good little feature that'll help you sort of spot where the greasy stuff is. If you go, so do you all know about sort of the driving line assist?
Yeah, we can't use it.
You can't use it?
We can't.
No, we're not allowed. Since it's disabled.
You can use it in here. I've got it on.
Yeah, here. But I'm saying,
Yeah.
where we raise, they won't. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But what you can do is, say if you're for learning a track, learning where the wet stuff is.
Yeah.
So chuck it on in practice, just so you sort of, because once you know where you're going in the wet, you could turn it off. You wouldn't need it because you know where the greasy stuff is. Because the greasy stuff is never going to change. It's always going to be the same spot. So if you're ever unsure, get yourself a little practice lobby pre-hand, chuck that driving line on, and then you should have a little yellow line on track. So that little yellow line is going to be where the greasy track is. So if you're on there, you just know, ooh, like a little bit of caution, in case, you know, it might be slippery. But also, then you know as well, if you're not on that yellow line, you're going to have a little bit of extra grip. You're going to have more grip to play with. Is it? I mean, if you can spot those little cues, then probably. I know everyone's got their own little different ways of looking at the track. I think the good indicator for me is always the marbles on the track. So in wet conditions, or in Gran Turismo at least, you'll know there will be grip on the marbles in Gran Turismo. Yeah, it says there is grip in the marbles. So any long corner, I think like a track like Yamagiwa, for example, those big, long, sweeping corners, there's a good chance you'd be sort of deep into the marbles in a corner like that, because you've got loads of grip and loads of momentum to carry onto the straight. But there is sort of like a yin and yang essentially with it a little bit, you know, because you are travelling further by using all that extra track. So there is occasionally, you know, a sort of a compromise of, is it worth the extra speed that you're going to get, worth the extra distance you're going to use, sort of thing. Yes. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a compromise. You think like 130R, there is no compromise really with that one. You've got to use the slippy stuff, because braking on the left on the grippy stuff just makes the corner so sharp that it's not worth sort of the gain in the brake sort of thing. So yes, yeah. Whereas for the Degners, personally, I find being on the grippy stuff for the brakes there is worth it, because there's not a lot of momentum carried through anyway. Because pretty much onto the next braking zone, so you're not really carrying momentum even if you're on the slippy stuff. So there is gain to be had by being on the grippy stuff in the brakes. So it is very much a bit of yin and yang. Yeah. Most definitely a fine line. But it's part of the game, is finding those fine lines. Yeah. I think I always find it interesting on the wet because you think it seems to be that nobody does it. You know, in the dry, there's one line that is best, and everyone tries to hit that line. Whereas in the wet, you tend to find people try and do different things. It's interesting because I know there's one particular corner here after that hairpin, that long right hand after the hairpin. Jakey will do it completely differently to the way I'll do it, because I like to try and carry momentum through the corner, so I'll go left and try and hold left all the way around so I can carry momentum around it, whereas Jakey will start left, then go to the inside to the right so that he can get that inside grip. But I find the problem with that is when you're crossing the slimy stuff, is the car gets unsettled, so you've got to let off the throttle and everything to get to that grippy stuff. But Jakey is amazingly good in the wet, so it clearly works for him. It's just a difference in a way of approaching it.
Yeah, and that tip with the driving line, dude, is a godsend.
It's good, isn't it? I think the only thing you want to be careful, if you're on the grippy wet stuff, you could almost drive the car like it was in a dry. You know, you could put your foot flat to the floor, no problem, hit the brakes flat to the floor, no problem. It's when you're on that grip, the slimy stuff, is where you've got to be like just a little bit cautious on the throttle. So like, just hold it like at 50% while you're on the slimy stuff. Then when you're off the slimy stuff, put it back on, type of thing. Or you know, you've got to be a little bit more cautious when you're on the slimy stuff. And that's why it's important to know where it is.
Sorry.
The only thing you'll notice as well with your lap times, especially at the moment, is that obviously you're in different cars. You know, the cars are going to have their strengths and weaknesses in different areas. I think I don't know which one is the best, to be fair. They're all fairly, I think they'll all be fairly close. Corvette's probably the Corvette's probably the worst of the three in the wet.
I don't know, Superman seems to be doing okay.
I don't think it's a bad car in the wet. I don't think it's a bad car in the wet. I don't think it's too bad. I think the Supra just got a little bit more downforce when you get to that first sector. It's probably a little bit better. And I'm a big fan of the GTR in the wet as well, to be fair. I do love the thing in the wet.
Ah, come on.
How is the Supra in the wet? I don't think I've ever driven it. Or have a Supra paddy? A little bit tail happy, but not too bad.
So with them different racing lines, is it possible in this kind of rain to run intermediates?
I mean, you could. Like, you'd get round the track as it is with the inters. You would not be as quick, I don't think.
Okay.
But if it was a case of if you've got this sort of weather for a small portion of the race, for example, I'd definitely just leave inters on and sort of, because the only thing you'd have to be a little bit cautious with inters is your braking zones, because even if you're on the grippy stuff, there's a chance you might lock up just because they're inters in heavy rain condition. But while actually driving the corner grip, you wouldn't even notice it probably, the difference. It'd feel the same. It's just that it wouldn't accelerate quite as good, and it'd probably be a little bit worse in the braking zones.
Gotcha.
But if you had like a full race in this condition, I definitely wouldn't be running them, because the other thing you've got as well is this wet line that we're learning at the moment is only useful in this sort of heavy rain condition. If it's sort of intermediate, you're probably better off using the racing line, like your normal racing line.
Hello.
Hello, Guy.
Is that you guys doing rain practice at Suzuka?
Yes.
Oh. Can I stay and watch for a bit?
No. I'm only messing. Yeah. We're just going through basically the difference of using the slippery racing line and the grippier wet line.
Oh, okay, I'm just watching cupcakes on board, that's why.
No bother.
Thank you for streaming, by the way, mate. Appreciate it.
Not a problem, bro.
Cupcake to the rescue. Good lap, Hansa.
Thank you.
So there's nothing easy about driving in the wet. Yeah, if anyone hasn't noticed yet.
Well, I use the traction control on too, so
Yeah, so do I.
Same.
Yeah,
I guess that's also personal preference.
a little bit.
And I just to the stroll.
You're on the gravel here.
Yeah.
I think the important thing is that you know the difference between the grippy stuff and the slimy stuff. Then it is just a case of sort of experimenting. No.
The most critical moment is that moment when you come from the racing line, off the racing line, or the other way around.
Yeah.
When you make that crossing, that's a critical part.
Yeah. The points where you're crossing the slippy stuff. So if you know you're going to cross them, then you can just sort of let the car roll over it and carry on. Whereas if you don't know you're going to cross it, you're probably going to sort of get some oversteer or wheel spin while you're going over it, and hopefully not have a crash, but you're definitely going to have a moment.
If you want to learn to drive in the wet, then use slick tires. Don't do it.
No,
Just
no.
I did.
Was it you and Nerbs GP?
Yes,
Yeah.
because I slid out of the pit entry. I was spot on with the lap when I went to pit. That was absolutely spot on. So okay, I'm gonna go in now, and then the pit entry decided, no, you're not going in.
I remember that. Sure. From the outside, that was really, really funny.
Well, I can definitely tell it was not fun. It was fun when I was on the wet, and the transition to the dry again. That was fun. When I really made a ballsy move to go straight to the slicks again, and barely the racing line was dry. But it worked.
Then the big thing here is if you can tell the difference in the grip, then when the track does start drying up in a race, if you can tell the difference in grip, there's more likelihood that you're going to be able to spot how much grip there is on the track. And you've probably seen in races tons and tons of times before where if you can spot that better than other people, then you can make up massive amounts of time in a race. You know, if you've learned that a corner has now become a flat out corner because there's more grip, and everyone else is still sort of lifting off and being hesitant through the corner, then that's big gains that you're making that they're not, and it makes a massive difference. I think oh, the wobbles. Oh. I think the big thing in the wet, I think you all look like you've got a bit of an understanding of the sort of the slippy stuff, the grippy stuff, and where, when, how. I think the next sort of important thing is sort of your input. So you want to do nothing.
Smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So think of it as sort of in a stepping system. So you do a small amount as your first step, and then you go on to full power. So when you put the throttle down, you never put full power down straight away. You always go step into full. I think what makes it confusing, if you ever watch some of these top boys, they've got that to such a fine art that it looks like it's just one, like they're just putting their foot flat to the floor. But if you sort of look at it really, really in detail, you'll notice that it doesn't go instantly from nothing to 100. It does. So they've got it to an art to the point where it looks like they just bang, but it's not the case. They've actually got a little stop in there because it's that initial bang.
Also that indicator on the HUD is not exact. It's not that exact.
No. Well, you got to think. We're talking to fine margins. You think the amount of throttle you actually have available is not this whole bar. Do you think if I stop dead now, I'm giving myself this much throttle? Oh, I'll come over here. But you think, look, it's barely going.
How much trail braking is in the what?
Hard to tell. I'd probably tend to avoid it. Try and do everything separately. Because in this corner here now, you'd go brake, off, turn, brake, off, turn, and then once you get yourself to a point where you're pointing towards the exit, then you'd go onto the throttle again.
Okay. So it could depend on track control, yeah?
Yeah. Essentially, to sort of emphasize it, it's you do nothing together. Essentially, it's throttle, turn, you know, and then obviously, you know, when you get used to it, you smoothen it up a bit so it doesn't quite look as jagged as I'm doing it. But essentially, that's what it is. It'd be here, brake, turn, straight, throttle. There you go, throttle, do all the turning, slippy stuff, straighten up, turn again, throttle, brake in a straight, off brake, turn, straight again, throttle, you know, and it's just a case of the more you get used to it, the smoother you can make it, that it looks like it's in one motion, but in reality it's not.
It's dancing in the rain.
It is dancing in the
It
rain.
is, yeah.
But here's a perfect example that's hairpin here. If you ever watch anyone go around here, you'll see him go somewhere like about 3/4 there, then to full. It's just that they've got such a fine art with it.
I could see people taking that line like in the IRO race. I think it was somebody, I don't remember who it was, taking the outside line, then going to the inside, and they would get such a great exit compared to me. So that's something for me to note down. Especially this corner, I was struggling a lot in IRO.
You say that again, Lugie. You were really quiet, and I missed pretty much all of that.
Yeah, hold on, my bad.
Yeah, is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
So when we were going down to the hairpin, I was saying in IRO, I saw some people taking like the higher line compared to the low line. I don't know who it was, but gradually, like I see them getting like a better exit to comparison, and then they like fly by there. Like you kind of like notice that.
Yeah, is that right-hander after the hairpin that you're talking about?
No, the hairpin. Like you take the outside line, go in the air.
Oh, okay, I'm with you. Yeah, so the thing that I noticed with it is I managed to sort of managed to find a good little sort of middle ground with it, because what you tend to find is, was it by any chance the MR car that was getting the good run on you through there? Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. See, so yeah, it can be, like I say, when you get to that level where you're racing in a Jowd, you know, you're looking at very, very fine margins. Because that does work, but then there's also a case of, there's a good chance, if you were sort of side by side to that point, there's a good chance you would have probably gained on him in the brakes, being on the grippier stuff, and him gained on you on the exit, being on the carrying the momentum. Whereas if you were on your own lapping, you'd sort of come middle of the track on the brakes, over, maybe not quite this extreme, but over, and then what I found was that if you go across on that angle then, all grip, no problem, and you're straight onto this nice line here. Yeah, well, what I'll do, because you've actually intrigued me a little bit and I want to experiment, I'm going to do that corner again, but I'm going to hold it, instead of coming across like I do normally, I'm going to stay on the right hand side where you come onto the slippy stuff and just see if it does actually kick the traction control in, or if the momentum's enough. Well, it didn't kick the traction control in, but it did spin up the wheels. Have I got traction control on? I did. Yeah. So
I think it's also important to know when the turbo kicks in, because that can cause trouble in some cars.
Yeah. So that's where the cars like the Corvette have a little bit of advantage, because they haven't got sort of a big spike in power because of a turbo. It's smoother. So it can actually be a little bit beneficial to have cars like that with a lot of the I think all 3 or 4 of the American cars are non-turbo. Maybe the Ford GT, is that a turbo?
Yeah, and I think
it?
the GT, well, the older GT I think is supercharged, but I think the new GT's turbo.
Okay. So yeah, what you'd probably find in that car then is you'd have a big sort of delay and a big spike of power with the turbo. It's where
Can
the
imagine
GTR...
that. I can imagine that the M6 is a bit tricky with its differential.
Yes, so the M6 is actually an interesting car, because you'd imagine that it's quite a high downforce car, that it would, especially on track like this, it's actually really, really good in the wet, because it can carry a lot of speed through corners. But because of its aggressive turbo, it's actually quite bad in the wet. It's surprisingly bad, because it just cannot get power down. It just spins to hell. That's a good point, actually. I'm supposed to drive that thing.
I don't like it in the dry either, to be honest, especially out of slow corners when the diff kicks in like man possessed.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it I'm not a big fan of it, but for some reason I picked it anyway to do Taurus, so it must be a suck of a punishment. How bad is it then? Because it's part of the reason I've actually picked this car, because everyone's told me that it's horrendous in the rain, that's really bad, and I wanted to find out for myself. So I've picked it.
So you love yourself a bit of pain, don't you?
Yeah. Well, they're all in the GTR, and I know the GTR is good in the wet. I know, I've done plenty of laps with it in IRO around this track in the wet, so I'm well aware of how good it is. But I was surprised with the BMW, so I'm jumping in to see if it is just that it isn't very good, or...
The Porsche also was really good in the rain with the right tires.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
this thing is amazing in the rain.
What are you in?
Yeah.
I don't think this BMW's that bad in the wet. So, but I would recommend everyone give, like, because you've all been driving very sort of front heavy cars in the wet. I do recommend you all drive something like a GTR is probably a good option. GTR or a Porsche or something that is sort of good in the rain, that's known for being good in the rain. I think GTR is probably my personal choice, just because the power delivery is so smooth, and it's got the downforce for the faster corners. I think that would always be one of my first choices in the rain.
Right. I'm gonna leave again then. Is there any decision also when we start with the proper preparation for Spa?
Good question.
We've
done a couple of laps. I think we know roughly where the lap times, what we're looking for, or what we think the sort of top times are going to be.
That would be?
I think we're looking at 2:15s.
I hope you didn't do that on hard.
No, that's medium pace. That's medium.
Oh
pace.
fucking hell! I can barely do that on soft.
No, I'm only messing. I think that was soft times.
I did something in the afternoon, a few laps on mediums. The best was at 18.6.
Yeah, I don't think you're miles away with that.
I mean, I'm not the quickest anyway on that track, but I can be consistent there.
Yeah. So, sort of
And that's also why I entered this lobby with this car, because I wanted to see how it is in the wet. Because you never know.
It's not a fan favourite of mine either, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of Spa, but so I'm hoping for a lot of rain so I can just try, because I know I'll keep up in the rain. As soon as it gets dry, I'm going to get absolutely whitewashed.
I did my longest race ever on that track. Oh.
Did you?
Yeah. 192 laps, well, it was a 200 laps race. I did 197 laps.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was a from Super GT. He did a race on GT Sport. Yeah, he lapped me only 3 times. Okay, any guesses how long did the race go?
200 laps. 12 hours?
I crossed the line at 7 hours 48 minutes with over 1400 kilometers. I think I finished 6th. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was gonna ask Kaza, any chance for 214s in the quali for Spa?
Probably. Not with me driving like, but probably.
Yep, shit, I'm cooked. Alright.
It's alright, we've got Sharky for quality, it's fine.
Yeah. Let's sit back and relax while he does the work.
Well, unfortunately we can't sit on him like we did in Road Atlanta anyway.
Oh yeah. Yep, at least we'll have somebody in the party chat always. We have like 8 drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should always be 2 or 3, I think, in the chat, the same spot.
Well, I do need to find out where we sit with Ost, actually.
I don't know.
I think we're battling 5th for the championship.
Yeah.
Not sure.
That'll be fine. We'll hammer them. No dramas.
Yeah, I think we should also figure out stints relatively soon so that we can practice the stints with the respective times.
Yeah. Worrying
Especially for
thing
those
as
who
well.
have to drive in the night then.
Aye, well, that's where we've got our range of people around the world makes that a little bit easier. Now that we've got an Australian, he can take at least one of the night stints off us. And we've got Lugia. Are you 3 hours ahead of 3? What's your difference to us?
I think that's like 3 or 4. Are you guys using the GMT time zone or the BST time zone?
I haven't got a fucking clue anymore.
No, you guys are in GMT.
Am I? Oh, thank you.
You should be.
one,
Alright.
one of us now.
GMT is 4 hours ahead, no? I think.
Yeah, probably.
I hate time zones so much. Alright.
Me too.
I'm in Central European time and it's 7:30 now, or 7:10.
Let's
I
check.
think
So it's 1940 now here.
Yeah, 1840 here.
I think I should be like 4 hours ahead at least.
So UK time to what time?
UAE, man.
UAE?
Well, I'm 1 hour ahead of
United Arab
British
Emirates.
time.
It's 4 hours ahead of UK.
Okay. There we go.
Okay.
So between you, Luigi being a little bit ahead of us and Sharky down in Australia,
So
shouldn't have anyone really doing a sort of horrible graveyard shift, really.
No, I'll be doing the night shift, so that's don't talk about graveyard shift because I'll be in the graveyard after my night shift. So yeah, I completely messed up my wording on that, and I love it.
wait, Luigi, you work the night shift? Your grave charge?
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
I have to take a night stint because I have to do like I don't want to say the competition name here, because I know some people are gonna get angry. I have to do it on the day, then I do a night stint because I don't want to collide my stints with that competition. So I'll be driving like a total of like I think at least 8 or 6 hours. I think, no idea.
Which one is it? Is it ERF you're doing?
Yeah, yeah.
That one? Yeah.
Laguna Seca, I think. So.
Oh.
I'm in a
Ew.
bit of a hassle. Yeah.
How long is the Laguna? Was that a 24 as well? 12?
Nah, that's 8 hours. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
That's
right
what I'm
then.
saying. Mate, I'm not that crazy.
That's alright.
That's why I said day stint and then night stint. Easy as that, and then I'll go.
Yeah. Well, just let me know what time your stint will be for that one.
Yep. I think it'll be mostly stress-free. We have 7 drivers anyway, so yeah.
I think it'll be stress free.
Yeah. It'll be fun as well.
We've got a full squad for the last one.
It's just gonna be fun in the party shed, I think. When it's peak time.
People will be like, "Good morning." What you talking about? Good morning.
Yeah. Shut up! Yeah.
Good evening. Shut up, it's 5 a.m. Oh. My conclusion of this day is I still know how to shift gears. I still don't know how to accelerate and turn the wheel. That's a surprise.
Ooh, look at that,
Well,
219.
Nice one.
He's gonna. Oh, nice job, mate. I just saw the lap.
I think I
Okay.
spotted 2 corners where you could have made that. I reckon you could make it an 18.
Yeah. You called my name.
Yeah, I
guys,
should try
enjoy
the,
the rest of this. See you soon. Bye. Bye.
Cupcake, try the Group 4 Supra.
Group 4's available.
Yeah.
Ow.
That's the car I'll be rocking tonight.
Is that you round here tonight, are you?
Yeah. In the group 4.
And me. But it's random, so I'm not sure if we're gonna get torrential rain. So, well, who knows? It's 60 minutes, so I don't know if it would do that.
Dude, never say never.
That's true.
That's true.
Remember Tokyo
Tokyo.
Expressway.
Where I lost the race, the lead in the last 3 minutes.
Dude, I lost my podium to Oscar.
Yeah.
All because, dude, my ego got inflated thinking, you idiot, why would you pit on the last lap? And I found out why.
I wanted to pit, but I only realized it was raining the moment I was going into the tunnel, so I didn't have time to get to the to enter the pits. Check the map. By the time I checked the map, missed the entrance. And that was a long way around to try to get back to the pits.
Who's got a Group 4 GTR?
Everybody.
Group 4 GTR.
Everyone's been driving GTRs in that series. You know, WS North America.
The Group 4 GTR is going to be amazing if it rains.
All right, there you go, Soup. You got it.
Yeah, like you can't you can't go wrong. It's fine.
Well, it's gonna be the 10-10s like Ghost, you know, Tim and them who are really just intent on beating VPR anyways. So us
Yeah.
RA boys, we'll just stay out of the way.
We just want to have fun.
Exactly. Yeah, I figured 60 minutes Suzuka random, so it should get some rain.
To be fair, I think you've both got good cars by the looks of it. I think the Supra's probably the best of the 2-wheel drive cars you'll get.
Oh, dude, I
Better
can
than-
run.
Really?
Yeah, dude,
Probably.
I have
In the Group 4,
ran
but not in
at
Group 3.
Spa.
No, Group 4.
Yeah, okay.
I've ran at Spa, and it was
That was great
raining.
in
The
Spa.
meter, dude, the meter was like almost halfway, and I'm rocking medium tires. Like,
That's
not
good.
even sliding.
in the group 3, because what's separating how many points? Myself and DB are tied for first. Dylan is 1 point behind, and I think Aaron and Ghost a couple of points behind. So everyone's gonna be fighting. I'll sit back in the ring. They have MRs, you know. They have Lambos and, you know, McLarens and stuff. So.
Yeah, the Lambo will be a good one in the wet as well.
Yeah, I think CB's, unless he makes he makes stupid mistakes or does unnecessary battles, you know, with Dylan, then, you know, he should get the championship. He's quick. I missed my chances to seal up the championship in the fast tracks, so with my stupid Ferrari strategist making the calls to the tire changes. That was my window. What? Okay, what was the original car that we initially picked? Corvette.
It was a Corvette, and then we were like,
We
well,
said,
let's try the
"No."
Ferrari.
Let's try the Ferrari.
Ferrari was horrible, and then I suggested
the
a Toyota.
The Group 4 was good, but not the Group 3. It was too much of a gap.
Pig.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to go GTR because everyone else, you know, it was becoming a one-make series. Everyone choosing GTR, so we went with Supra. Well, at least we've had fun having different liveries every couple of races. We keep changing it up.
You're keeping JP busy.
Hey, he's keeping himself busy.
Yeah, I just decided. I said, yeah, you know what? You know, for this one, let's night race. Let's change it up so it looks better at night, or you know, depending on the race.
I do like that Group 4 cat livery though. That's all
Yeah.
the blue and the green and
I think I got I know Ray asked before the CTC one, the last round, so I just got that done, so I just have to put all the numbers. It won't be the color, it'll be orange, white, black. So,
yeah.
No, you're good. Hey. Follow me through this. I'm gonna show you something. Kaza showed me this. Stay to this right here. Just brake hard like a mofo. Feel any difference? Yeah, you still want to get to the very far left.
yeah, you take the outside.
You probably wouldn't notice it as much in the four-wheel drive car because it's got so much grip anyway.
Oh.
But you'd still expect to notice a little bit, but the difference wouldn't be as much in the GTR as it would be in the Supra. Like I'd expect you to see it a lot more in that than the GTR. But it'd still be quicker. Just the difference wouldn't be as dramatic.
I just realized there's somebody else on track. Who is that?
That's Payan.
Yeah, I just noticed. You go, what?
He's doing tours with us in about an hour.
Oh, okay.
So, and we're
On
in
this
Suzuka
track?
as well. Yeah, we're in Suzuka for tours. So he's probably thinking that this is this is like a practice for that.
Is it supposed to be rain? Dynamic
No.
weather? Oh, okay.
No. Well, I think there's like a damp track. I don't think we quite get sort of.
Okay.
I don't think we quite make it RO8 like this.
Yeah, same with our thing. It's not our weight. But it's random. So I don't know if we get this kind of condition, but it should get. You're right. Some moisture.
Yeah, I doubt you'd get it this heavy. It's very rare that
Yeah.
it gets to this wet, but you might get a little bit.
Isn't that starting soon?
Tours?
Yeah.
Lobby's open in about half an hour.
Okay.
Right, look at that. He's 3 seconds quicker than you. He's in a Group 3 Porsche.
That's good.
I think Payan's he's top of Lobby 2 right now. Should probably be in Lobby 1, really. Realistically should be in Lobby 1 with us. And you compare, what were you doing? 220s, 219s?
219s.
Yeah. He doesn't know, does he? He doesn't know.
You gotta show him, Cupcake.